I've been very impressed. Like I've been in marketing and social media for over a decade, and you, in a pretty short amount of time, a year and a half or so, 2 years of doing TikTok content, various types of TikTok content have racked up millions of views on our videos. So I'm really interested in taking some of that knowledge and understanding of what's going on in the TikTok algorithm and how event organizers can create videos for TikTok, going deep with you for this 15 minutes on just like what are some tips and tricks and like new things about the algorithm in, July of 2024. If we do this video again in 6 months, it'll probably be totally different things, but I'm excited to dive into that. Welcome, Alaina, to the Event Promoter Podcast. Alaina works on our team. She is our resident TikTok expert. She also does a lot of other stuff, as everyone at a startup does. What are some of the things right now in July of 2024? What are some of the things that are different right now? If someone's reading blog posts and stuff online about how to create TikTok videos, are there things that are probably outdated on those that you're seeing now is more effective, or ways that people should be thinking about their content strategy?
I think that meme culture is always relevant, but you can see a lot of organizations playing into it, like car dealerships and all of these things. But the cool thing about meme culture is it can be used for anybody, essentially. So there's just like someone falling off of a thing. I don't even know. They fall off a building. Not encouraging that, but that's like a meme out there. And then at the end of the video, before that person falls, it's somebody else falling, and they're like, come to margarita, blah, blah, blah. We'll have you falling all over the place, or just something fun and that's memorable and creates engagement has been really valuable. So I think that playing into, organizations and every organization, brand awareness, creating some sort of, most events that we work with have that fun component to it of they're trying to showcase, whether it be their food or headline or whatever it may be, just adding a little bit of, relatability to it and capturing their attention and being like, this is why you should go here. I've seen a lot of increase in that specifically on TikTok.
You think just people are getting more creative? I feel like social media always goes through this thing of like brands get onto social media and they're like, hello, fellow users, I am a brand. And then eventually, like I saw it happen on Twitter, I saw it happen on YouTube, where they start to realize like, oh, I should hire someone that's creative if I'm not creative, or like I'm allowed to be more creative on this platform.
Yeah, creativity is essential right now. And then also I have like a list of things that I wrote down of like the do's, the B's. And one of them that I put on there was be curious all the time. So being curious means using tools. So fun thing about TikTok is they have a lot of tools in their platform to help you succeed and get that engagement that you're looking for. Example, that would be their creator search insights, but also just following the trend. So if you're saying that this is getting a lot of engagement, having a fun spin on it is a really effective way of getting that engagement that essentially will get people through the door.
I think that be curious is super, because it's going to change all the time, and what the like trending things are like that we might say today are going to be different a week from now. And so you have to like use the platform. Do you have any advice for people that like don't want to just spend their entire life on TikTok? Like how do you manage creating and also like consuming?
Yeah, so I know for creators, you always want to create more than you consume, but to truly be like successful is to be a conscious consumer. And that's why I like TikTok's creator search insights is you're able to essentially look at one content that's similar to yours, what's successful, what's not. You can look at gap content. So if there's a missing gap where people are searching for something and there's nothing there, you can do that. TikTok is, I think, the most creator friendly, in my personal opinion, when it comes to getting that feedback immediately without having to consume for hours and hours on end. And it makes it easier to do a lot of like research on that specific audience.
What are some of the other tools that people can use?
Well, I think creator search insights is like the tool in one where you can look up keywords. You can look up how someone landed on your video. So if they searched up something very specific and your video popped up, you can see, which can be a kind of a good thing and a bad thing. If you're like, how did someone search up this and get to my video? Allows you to reflect on what you're putting out there and how you're reaching people. I will say that one of the best tools is essentially the immediate feedback that you receive from the post that you put out there and the engagement that you get. So if you're not getting a lot of engagement, there could be a lot of reasons for that. And that's when you go towards the creator search insights or just doing a little bit of research on your own. It's not too difficult to do on TikTok.
Talk a little bit about that, the engagement part of like, I see some people, they'll post a video and then just like drop it there and then never interact with it again. And I know you've talked about how important engagement is for, I mean, basically just making the most out of the platform.
Yeah, I think engagement is more valuable than followers these days. People are more hesitant to follow people, especially with like For You pages and things like that. You're constantly getting fed content that is relevant and interesting to you. So you kind of just always want to be in that bucket, whether or not someone follows you or not. Specifically on the social side, for what I'm doing with Vesta is I encourage people to, let me know what dates are you going to be in Dallas or Denver? What are you looking to do? And people respond in the comments or they'll tag their friends. So you essentially want to have content that people are going to save or feel encouraged to share with somebody, tag their friends, or just comment questions and things like that. All of that is stuff that you can respond to with new content as well, answering those questions, and then letting them know why they should go to your event. So with the videos that I do with Vesta, I try to highlight, an event. Our attention spans are crippling. So why is this important? Why is this valuable? What are the highlights? And then it just goes from there.
About like the actual post format, because they let you do longer videos now, they let you do images, they let you do all kinds of different post formats. Like, is there something that's working really well, or is there a way to assess what types of post formats you should be doing?
TikTok will push videos if you use their new tools right when they push it out. So I know they
that's
just
true for every marketing platform.
Yeah. No, but
yeah.
they just came out with a app of the creator search insights, and you can post through there to your account. And those videos are really successful. Now, when it comes to longevity, appearance, and things like that, all of that is different based off of the organizer, whatever makes the most sense for us. Ours is the carousel version, things to do. With a fun, appealing picture to encourage people to watch the video. So I think I told you last time about the confetti donuts. In Dallas, people are foodies there. So I usually have a lot of food as the focus there. And that's what draws people in, is that visual aspect. And then I'm giving them value immediately after.
Well, I think that's the thing on video platforms is people forget that it's a image first platform. It's video, but like the first image that's not, especially in these scrolling ones, it's like that first image is so important, whether it's a picture or a video. You've done both, right? Like videos from events and pictures. Do you think that any is more effective than the other, or is it just the quality of it that matters?
No, it's the quality. Like the example I could give is Denver and Dallas are just, I'm on the same platform, but they're just two different audiences. They are drawn to two different things. So for Dallas, I use carousel pictures. That's what's successful. Our post last week has like 150,000 views, and I only posted once. Denver, they like the video format, and I do see a decrease in video engagement during like the off season of Denver. I'm thinking the on season is fall and winter time. So it kind of just depends on the demand, but also, the quality of the content. It is a little bit of a learning curve.
I've seen some people do some really, I think Resound Presents was doing some like interesting video format where they were interviewing people in line, doing like the man on the street interviews, but they had like a twist on it that they were doing it in line for shows at some of their venues. That was kind of a cool thing. Like, what are some other ideas that you've seen out there that even maybe not stuff we've done, but just like things you've seen around events that are kind of cool creative ideas?
Like I said, the memes and stuff like that, I've seen that a lot. I've also seen like the man on the street X ones. I'm seeing an uptick in office, like the office video cut format with the actual employees. So there'll be like a car dealership. One of them's like a pizza restaurant, or they'll just do skits. I saw one of a retail store doing skits of the types of customers they deal with. And in the comments, like people were like, laughing, but they're asking, where'd you get that top? Where'd you get that? And it's at the store. So it's really cool it's not immediately you're entertaining, you're providing, that's the value you're giving, but also you're creating curiosity for your audience. So it really does depend, and you can do it in so many different ways, whatever works best for you, and be ready to adapt, because that might change. And hopping on the trends is really good. But Yeah, that's what I've seen recently.
There's a band here in Omaha called the Real Zebos, and they do a lot of really good shorts content on. They do it on Instagram mostly, but they'll like jack a trend and then like turn that into a promotion for a specific show. So it's
Yeah.
not just like, hey, this is like I think recently they did like one of like trending on Instagram were those like 10 things you didn't know about, you know,
Yeah.
Nebraska, or 10 things, and they had like a 10 things you didn't know about Omaha, and they like start the video, and then like the first one's like the Bob Carey Bridge, which is like a normal like tourist thing, and then the second one was like Mega Saver, the gas station, and then the third one was like some random pizza joint, and then like they go through the list and they just like get kind of weirder and weirder and weirder, which
Yeah.
is hilarious, and it makes you start. And if you're from Omaha, you're like, yeah, that's like Mega Saver is where it's at, like.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, it's like the Real Zebos at the Slowdown on like this specific date, and I mean
Yeah.
they sold that show out, so it's like that might not
It's
be the one reason,
creative.
but that video got like 500,000 views. So,
Yeah.
and they don't have that.
Yeah, it might encourage someone to look at their music or click on their profile and see what they're about and be like, oh, I actually like this band, you know? So
Totally.
very creative and engaging, you know, it grabbed their attention, gave them value immediately, and sold them slightly.
I mean, I still remember that. And that was like months ago. So it's like memorable. So it's like not being afraid. And they post a bunch of other I would say all of these people that I'm referencing, including us, like have posted a bunch of stuff that didn't take off. And that's like,
Yeah.
okay, to like, that's part of the creative process, is like trying stuff and not being afraid to like kind of just be like, oh, I have this silly thought.
Yeah.
The video that went like kind of small viral for my bluegrass showcase, that was like, I was riding my bike home from work, and I was like, it would be really funny. I just like came up with this like funny like skit basically that was just me talking to the cowboy version of me talking to the not cowboy version of me, and I just like went off the side of the trail and recorded it and put it, and it was super janky, but people loved that versus like the other promotions that I did that were more like kind of like, you know, this is the show, like whatever, like.
Yeah, and not everything, that's why it's good to have someone in that creative space who can think of those things, because not everything has been done and not everything has been created. And I mean, contrary to what we believe, I know there's so much out there, but if you have something you want to try, like don't shy away from it. If it doesn't do well, then it doesn't do well, but you can't say you didn't try.
It's not as embarrassing as you think it is whenever you make a video and no one watches it, because guess what? No one saw it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like no one will watch this probably, now that we've said that. We're gonna be like,
hey.
I'm really stuck on this one.
We need to be wearing funny hats. That's the secret.
I know. I was thinking about that.
We have like 2 minutes left. Is there any way for people to like figure out those on TikTok? Like, what are those new features that they have? I know that they have like a product release blog. Is that where you look at that stuff, or?
No, actually, I'm like a consumer of all consumers. I like to just stay connected with other people in the space. They have newsletters and things like that, but TikTok has a TikTok.
Yeah.
So TikTok will post about their new things, and I'm a very much visual learner and need that part better than looking at a blog post or things like that. It was the same thing for Canva when I knew they had their thing out. They posted online. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get on that. So that's one thing you could do. But there are a lot of newsletters and places like that. But you could also just follow TikTok, and you'll be set.
Well, thank you, Alaina, for the tips. It's like flew by, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we could dive into in a future episode.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do this periodically to just touch on like what are the new things that you're seeing. Like some of the new things you mentioned here were, you know, using that with the search. What is the app called?
Creator Search Insights. So it's an actual thing built into the app, and they just, I think a week or two ago, released a Creator Search application that you can download on your phone.
Yeah, and then experimenting with those different formats, like the carousels and with the images and the videos, different lengths of videos, all that stuff. One quick last question. Are people still using hashtags?
Yeah,
is that a
people
thing?
are. I say don't overdo
Should you?
it. Use them strategically. I think SEO is more valuable on TikTok than people realize. So, and don't use random ones. You want to reach the audience that wants to watch your video. Creator Search Insights also help with that. So you can see what someone searched up to find your video. For us, it's things to do in Dallas, or food in Dallas and things like that, or Denver, whatever it may be. So yeah, just use those SEO, a few hashtags, but don't go too crazy.
Well, thanks so much, Alaina, for sharing your insights here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Craig.